This is definitely a situation that's bigger than just Nintendo. So I'm not like extremely knowledgeable about all of it. I'm sure there's probably a YouTuber much better than I somewhere who has done a much more like definitive report on this whole thing. But I know that like there's something weird with credits, like video game credits in Japan specifically. It's like it's a cultural thing where for some reason they just tend to not want to credit people if they think they've like come up with like a reason or a loophole why they shouldn't have to. There's just a problem with crediting developers in Japan. And I don't get it. I certainly don't understand it. And that's it. That's all I can even all I can say is I don't get it. I don't even really have a good theory on why it would happen. Point is though, Nintendo, people from the industry have been outspoken about Nintendo not giving them proper credit, and then we have some really specific cases recently. I sort of missed this. I remember when Metroid Prime Remastered came out, I remembered there was some sort of problem with them omitting certain credits, but I must have not properly given it a look at the time. I didn't realize they essentially didn't credit the original team that made the game. They only credited the people who worked on the remaster. And this is frustrating because like they're a big professional company, and yet I feel like this is a case. It's just such a common sense thing. Like I'm gonna try to explain my perspective here, but I think literally every single person listening to this right now already shares my opinion, and without me even saying anything. It's not even something that you need a perspective on. You don't need someone to be like, to tell you about it and give that, and you're, oh, I never thought of it that way. Now that you say it, maybe it would be right for them to credit the people who literally created the darn game. It just goes without saying. But, so yeah, point is, Donkey Kong Country Returns HD just came out, and apparently it just doesn't credit the people who made the darn game. In the credits, it credits the company that did the remaster, Forever Entertainment. It credits them, and then as far as Retro Studios goes, it just says based on the work of the original development staff. Wow. Thanks. Wow. Threw them a big fat bone there. That's what's weird. They still own Retro Studios. Retro Studios is still working on games for them. There are probably people who created this game who are still working at that company and being like, oh, cool. They're re-releasing that game that I helped make, and no one knows it because I'm not in the credits, even though I helped make the game. And it's so confusing. It's mean, for one. I mean, like, I get it if they're, like, cultural differences or something, but, like, it's just mean. It is a mean. Just the word mean perfectly describes it. It is a mean thing to do. It doesn't just feel negligent. It feels purposeful. Because it's so senseless. That's what I want to know from Nintendo. What is the harm? Explain this. If it is cultural, explain it to me. Or if there's a business element here that I'm not catching, I want you to explain it to me. What does it hurt? What is the negative in including the original staff? Why is that a bad thing? Why is that a thing that you are purposefully avoiding? Because here's the thing, it's not like it's too hard. It's not hard. It's these things, I don't know exactly how game development works. Maybe the credits, the text scrolling by, maybe that's a really difficult thing to pull off. Maybe it takes have to add $1 million to the budget. just to type all the it takes forever to type all those names. You got to type them all manually. I don't know. I kind of figured it was probably just like a Word document or something. You just kind of copy and paste it in there. I mean, you might have to make some changes, update it a little bit, I guess, or like, oh, but now we'd have to use the original and then add the Forever Entertainment, and then you have so many credits, and then we'd have to like retime the outro music. Oh, it's a nightmare. It's easier to just completely ignore all of the work of the literal entirety of the original staff who created the darn game. What is the, it's senseless. It is not hard to do, and in fact, it is damaging to not do. That's what's so weird. These companies, they don't like people to be mad at them, and I know Nintendo does a lot of things that makes people mad at them, and sometimes these things are just kind of like necessary from Nintendo's standpoint, even if we get frustrated when, they won't release certain games, but then they get on our case for pirating those games, or, their stance on fan projects and all that stuff. Like, it makes us mad as a community, but from a business standpoint, I understand it. I understand why they feel that they have to defend themselves in these ways. I get it. I get why they have to, like, kill some of, just a little bit of that, like, fan loyalty. But in a case like this is only damaging. It is only purely, exclusively damaging to their reputation, and even like their reputation as an employer. Generally speaking, they're a very good employer. Their employees are very happy. They are very good to their employees. And this is just one little thing that's just like, okay, work on our games with us. But there is a chance that down the line, we will purposefully omit the fact that you ever worked on this project. There may come a time when we delete the fact that you did this and worked for us from existence for what seems to be no good reason at all. Just none at all. So I just have to wonder, where is this decision coming from and why? I need a real reason. Because it's just a bad thing. It's just stupid. And here is what makes this so much worse. It gets so much worse. Eurogamer reached out to Nintendo and asked them about this. Nintendo actually got back to them. And I hope there are at least some of you who haven't read the articles yet. Because just like prepare yourself for this. It's fun. It's real fun. Nintendo gets back to them and says this: "We believe in giving proper credit for anyone involved in making or contributing to a game's creation, and value the contributions that all staff make during the development process." Full stop. That's it. That is the quote. That is the... I'm not kidding. I'm not kidding. There's not more. I'm scrolling. Nope. There is not more. That is the end of Nintendo's response. Literally saying, we absolutely believe in giving credit. And we value the contributions that staff give to projects. Once again, you don't need me to explain. You don't need me to explain the problem here. Anyone can see that it's a baffling response. I mean, it's like you're talking to someone and you watch them punch a guy in the face. You're talking to your friend Bob. Hold on a second. He walks over and he punches someone in the face, and then he walks back to you, and you go, "Hey, Bob, why did you just punch that guy?" Like, it's bad to punch people in the face. Why did you just punch that guy in the face? And Bob says, "Well, I believe that here's the reason. I believe that it is wrong to punch people in the face. And I actually would never punch someone in the face." What? I just saw you. What is this? We believe in giving credit. Why are you saying that? How is that a response to us saying, hey, you didn't give credit, you should give credit? And your response is, we do. We believe in giving credit, but you didn't. And even in the Eurogame article, they're like, that doesn't explain it. And we actually, we reached back out again for clarification. Then why didn't you? And so far, Nintendo has not responded. So it's baffling. It is purely baffling. And it is, like I said, it is mean, and I don't understand it. And I like Nintendo as a company, and they do a lot of good things. Like, just like from a moral standpoint, I do feel that they do a lot of things a lot better than a lot of other industry giants. I know I'm a broken record. Every time this kind of thing comes up, you always go, oh, I love Nintendo. I should probably just stop prefacing things with that. But like, what is this? What is this? It's not, I can't even understand it. And it's baffling and it's silly. And it's the kind of thing that if they saw that there was this backlash, they could just fix it. They could just patch the game. Again, it's probably just like a Word file. It's just text. It's literally just text. Paste the text into the file so that it's in the credits, even if you have to tweak the timing or whatever. Just like, I don't know. It's just absolutely silly. It makes no sense. And honestly, they are asking for a lawsuit. They really are. Like, you know, people creating Switch emulators and pirating stuff or whatever, and then Nintendo sues them, and Nintendo's like, oh, well, what did you expect? But here's a situation where they're basically asking game developers to sue them. Especially because now you have like a lot of different people from working on different projects. And if they all get to, I don't know, maybe a lot of them still work for Nintendo and they want to kind of keep their heads down. I hate that idea. That's a gross idea. But there's got to be a lot of people who worked on these games who don't work at Nintendo anymore. And if they all get together and talk to a lawyer and they say, yes, of course you have a case. Of course you should be credited for your work, especially because of how just simple and easy that would be. They could sue Nintendo and be like, what did you expect? You know? And I don't know exactly how the law works in this case, but, you know, maybe Nintendo has, maybe they already know why this is okay. Maybe they already have looked into this with their lawyers and have spent a bunch of money talking to their lawyers to make sure that they don't have to credit these people, because they hate crediting these people if they don't have to. If they can find a loophole, why not? Because apparently crediting people hurts them in some way. Every time they credit someone, they lose a piece of their soul or something. But like, if that's not the case, if this is one of those cases where it ends up going in front of a judge and it just comes down to whatever the judge thinks, what do you think the judge is going to say? How does Nintendo spin this? I mean, you know, they've got expensive lawyers. They can spin stuff. And especially like judges, that's the problem with video game lawsuits, is often they go before judges and people who don't know anything about the industry. So the expensive lawyers can just spin it however they want, and they can just make up whatever lies, and the judges will be like, yeah, I think that makes sense. But like in a case like this, what is the argument? Again, it's nonsense. What even is the argument? It goes before a judge. A judge is going to be like, oh, so this team of people worked on this game. And that's the thing. Even though I don't have to say it, I'll still say it. Like the remaster, they remastered the original game. They did not recreate the game. 99% of this game is still intact from the made by the original development team. They created the game. They made the code. They rigged the animations. They made the game. Forever Entertainment took it and polished it up. They did not make the game. They created this remastered version of the game. But like, nobody, no human being on this planet, except for people at Nintendo Japan or something, would agree that, oh yeah, no, you don't need to actually credit the people who made it, who created it. That doesn't make any sense. I don't know. So it's really frustrating, and Nintendo is being a big stinky jerk in this particular case. I can only, I mean, I don't know, like, what to do about it. It's Nintendo. They're untouchable, you know? Like, we're not gonna boycott their games. They do enough good that when they do bad stuff like this, you know, you'll get some people being like, well, then I'm not gonna buy anything from them ever again. I'm not gonna buy DKC Returns HD. They don't care. They don't care that, like, a few hundred people on the internet aren't gonna buy their game. For the most part, they're gonna do just fine. The general public will buy enough copies of their game. They will not care. It's not gonna become enough of a thing that it'll actually make them change their stance. I can hope that it is somehow. If they keep doing it, I would certainly get behind any campaign to somehow communicate to Nintendo, hey, this is absolutely not okay. But I don't know. Probably won't happen. Which is a real shame. I can only hope that somehow we get through to them and convince them, yes, maybe you should paste the text into the thing or whatever it takes, and this entire problem will be behind you. This little leak will be shored up. This one aspect of you that makes people feel like you're being kind of a jerk, it's gone. It's just gone. You fix it instantly. Start crediting people, and this problem goes away forever. We'll see if they ever do it.